This is Africa International Network.
Your Excellency, thanks for giving us this interview. Today's Africa Day, and the theme is the fight against corruption to move Africa forward. You, first and foremost, you're the Botswana ambassador to Sweden. I know Botswana already, it's in a good condition, but what do you think are some of the challenges that Botswana needs to kick to be able to get there in terms of corruption?
Well, I think to begin with, if you are aware about Transparency International, the entity called Transparency International, they rank us as the least corrupt economy on the African continent. That means in our country, we don't tolerate any corruption at all. We have a zero tolerance to corruption. We have mechanisms in place. The Directorate of Economic Crime has been in place so far for the past 10 years, and we were the first probably in Africa to have such an entity to operate in our country.
Okay, at the same time, you have the double function as Dean of African Ambassadors or ambassadors here in Sweden. Africa, I would say, is still facing corruption problems. What needs to be done?
Well, I think we need to learn from each other. We need to collaborate and share information so that we can deal with corruption, because corruption transcends borders. Across borders, people do send money or capital inflows that are not clean. Therefore, if we have strong institutions that collaborate in Africa, our intelligence services, our financial services, then we can beat corruption together.
Talking about collaboration amongst Africans, there is this free trade already amongst Africans. Do you think this free trade sort of agreement within Africa, do you think it has it's mustered the strength to compete with the European Union in terms of free trade?
Basically, what the African countries are doing is to strengthen trade amongst themselves. That is the basic efforts that all countries in these regional blocks are doing. For example, if you look at SADC now, many countries have signed the free trade agreement. If you look at COMESA in East Africa, and if you look at the West Africa Economic Community also, all of these have come together. Last month, you're probably aware that in Rwanda, they committed to creating a free trade agreement across the entire Africa, and that will facilitate trade. And we have hope that all countries in Africa will come as a unified group and a force to reckon when it comes to trade integration. We will certainly trade with other regional blocs such as the EU. You might be aware that recently the European Union has signed a free trade agreement with SADC, which we see as a positive step that these countries are going to unite and trade equitably.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.